Danny Gasparini, and welcome to this segment of Penn Voice. I'm joined today by Preston Merchant, who is the Public Information Officer for San Mateo County Health. Preston, welcome.
Thank you.
It's fun having you on this side of the camera. You always bring us guests to talk about different San Mateo County Health Department issues and challenges and great news, and today you're here.
Yes.
So there's probably not a lot of people who really understand what a public information officer might do for San Mateo County Health. So give us just a little background.
Yes, I'm responsible for our social media, our press relations, our communications and messaging. Anything related to the health department, including emergency communications, goes through my office.
So we are going to actually talk about something that is within the emergency communications bandwidth, something that's on all of our minds. With the recent power shutoffs and all, we're in fire danger season. So we want to talk about smoke in our community. So let's sort of jump into that topic and tell us a little bit about why you want to be here today and talk about this.
Yes, we're talking about wildfire smoke air quality events. That's the name these things are given. And we've been hearing for a couple of years now that there's a new normal for fire danger and fire risk. As we've seen, you know, this year hasn't been as bad as the previous 2 years for wildfires in California, but we have had some negative impacts from wildfire smoke, and that's the topic of concern for the day. So in this case, there's been a lot of work among the agencies that deal with air quality and public health. And so in this case, the Bay Area Air Quality Management District, all of the local health departments of the Bay Area, they're part of an association called the Association of Bay Area Health Officials. The acronym is ABAHO, and that represents the health officers. They have a health preparedness subgroup as well as a public information officer subgroup, and I'm part of that. And we've come to some consensus around messaging for wildfire smoke, the use of masks, measures that you can take to protect your health during, you know, a wildfire smoke event, and so that's what we're here to talk about.
So tell us some of the things that you do talk about. We are all familiar, at least in San Mateo County, knock on wood, we haven't had that local event that has strapped Sonoma or the Santa Ana area or the LA area. We certainly felt it. We certainly smelled it. We could certainly see in our skies the difference, the grayness. But what happens, we sort of feel like if we don't see it, it's not necessarily there. But you've come to uncover that we do have to think about air quality even if we can't see it.
Sure, it's always something to worry about. And the Bay Area Air Quality Management District issues warnings around smoke events and other alerts. They do the spare the air alerts that you hear about on the radio. So in this case, there are sensors around San Mateo County that they manage, and when they register an unhealthy air quality, they do send out a notice on their website and through Twitter and other channels. And then we take that information and we amplify it, and we do try to get people to understand that the best way to protect their health during a smoke event, any sort of air quality event, is to reduce your exposure. So going inside, closing your windows and doors, making sure that the air inside your home is clean is the best way to mitigate the effects of the health risks of the particulate matter that's in the air.
You know, one of the tips that I remember seeing on your website, or you might even have talked about it prior, is there's a feature on our air conditioning in our cars that either circulates within the car or circulates from air outside, to always make sure that that button is clicked to the one where it's internal circulation. Because if it's pulling from outside and it is a bad air quality day, you've then ingested when you think you're safe in your car.
You definitely want the recirculation feature in your car or in your house if it's available. If you don't have air conditioning or it's uncomfortable to be in the house or you can't be home, then certainly going to a place that does have good interior air. That could be a movie theater, a shopping mall, some other place of business where they do have an HVAC system that'll keep the air clean for you.
And in the community members, they'll get this alert, as you said, either by checking the county's website, or I heard it on a radio alert as well. You're always letting your local media stations know. How else can I find if today might be, because a lot of times I may not know it's a smoke event day or an air quality day.
Sure. The Bay Area Air Quality Management District's website we can put up on the screen. That certainly has information. Other weather-related sites will have it. You'll certainly read about it on the news. You'll hear it on the radio. I mean, it is, you know, widely distributed when we do have an air quality event.
So if I do have to be outside, my job requires me to be outside. I do have to get from point A to point B, and I'm traveling outside. Wearing a mask obviously is probably the best, but as you've brought something here today, I'm really confused as to what I do. I'm kind of thinking I do it this way by putting it on my ears, but I'm not sure that's like how do I do it?
So there's a lot of confusion around these masks. We're hearing different messaging, different understandings of how to use them, and all of that.
This may look like it's the nose piece. Maybe.
That's the nose piece.
Okay, that's a
But before you put it on, hold on 1 second.
Yep.
The health officers through ABAHO have come up with a general statement about the use of these masks, and it is that there is no clear evidence that wearing an N95 respirator mask by members of the general public will benefit an individual's health.
Oh, interesting.
And there may be harms from doing so. So while these masks may provide some measure of comfort for you, they're difficult to wear. They have to be fitted just perfectly. They're not fitted for children. If you have facial hair, they will not form a tight seal. And you'd have to change them out, every few hours because the condensation from your breathing and the particulate matters that they collect is in there, and it makes breathing difficult. Also, if you have a respiratory condition like asthma or you have a heart condition, anything that makes your breathing difficult can be very dangerous for you. So wearing a mask like this can be more harm than the benefit that it would provide.
I'm so glad you're saying that because I would have thought right away to put masks on, certainly with our kids if they're outside playing and it's a poor air quality day or a smoke event day.
Right.
So thanks for that. It does make sense. One, I wouldn't know how to put it on necessarily, and two, I understand that if they don't fit perfectly, like an industrial person might be wearing a mask because they're working with toxic products.
Right, these really are designed for professionals in the field. There's a protocol for fit testing, protocols for their use. And if you do work outside in an industrial place like that, there are protocols for doing so. But if you just buy these things at a home improvement store, they're probably not going to provide you any benefit.
So where do people, we just have about a minute left, where do people go to find information about a smoke event or air quality event?
So the Bay Area Air Quality Management District's website, certainly, the SMC Health website and our Twitter feed and our Facebook page, all of our social media. When there are events, we amplify them.
Yeah.
And then the general news will carry it as well.
So we've got just about, again, a minute left. What's the most important information you want to make sure that people are informed about when they're talking about these kinds of air quality days?
The best thing you can do is reduce your exposure. That means going inside. If you have to be outside, limit your time outside. If you are having to be outside, don't do things that are strenuous. Certainly don't go jogging, don't walk the dog. Do everything that you can to reduce your exposure to the bad air. And usually that's by being inside in a controlled environment with air conditioning or in your car, place of business, something where you can not be breathing the bad air.
And since we're breaking some myths, especially with the mask, I'm still reeling on that one. Are there times of day that can be better for air quality usage? Like first thing in the morning, is it better? Is air quality better in the first thing in the morning? Is it later in the day it gets worse? Is there any time of day that we can?
Well, I think that's more a question for the air quality management folks. And I don't know that there's an answer that we can give, just that any time the air quality indicators are very high for bad air, those are times to reduce your exposure.
Right, and I would imagine those are in public lifestyle too. We're not burning fires on those days, and we're also doing lifestyle changes too to help.
Yes, the spare the air protocols.
Right. Right. Well, thank you so much, Preston, for coming in and talking about this really relevant topic, because now our news are filled with fire danger. This is fire danger season, and to make sure that we, even if we're not near one of the fire areas, we can be a recipient of the air quality. So it's important for us to know what to do in those cases. Thanks so much for joining us. And we'll see all of you next time on Penn Voice.